¿Se les baja el volumen, por favor?
Recording in
Alone.
progress.
Mary is going by herself.
Natalie, Professor Taylor prefers to work alone.
Professor Taylor prefers to work by herself. Himself, yes.
Either one, Taylor's a girl or a guy, can be their last name.
Oh, okay.
Jose, there was too much work for us to do alone.
There was too much work for us to do ourselves, by ourselves.
Perfect. Valeria, Mary is going to go downtown alone.
Mary is going to go downtown alone by herself.
Eliminate alone. Mary's going to go downtown.
By herself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Robert, do you like to study alone?
Do you like to study by yourself?
Oneida, John and Mary were alone.
John and Mary were by themselves.
And Millie, there was so much work that I couldn't do it alone.
There was so much work that I couldn't do it by myself.
Yeah, very good. Questions, guys?
No, teacher.
All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and practice them first. Give me just a second to work. There you go, guys.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. You?
I'm fine, thanks. Okay, we are in the page 271.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to read because I don't know what is the answer. Okay. You can't play tennis alone.
You can play tennis by yourself.
Okay. The children are singing alone.
The children are singing by themselves.
Okay. I don't like to go to the movies alone.
I don't like to go to the movies by myself.
By myself. Okay. Mary is going alone.
Mary is going by herself.
Professor Taylor prefers to work alone.
Professor Taylor prefers to work by himself.
Okay. There was too much work for us to do alone.
There was too much work for us to do by ourselves.
What do you say? Our
by ourselves.
Okay. Do you like to study alone?
Do you like to study by yourself?
John and Mary were alone.
John and Mary were by themselves.
Okay. John and Mary by themselves. There was so much work that I couldn't do it alone.
There was so much work that I couldn't do it by myself. Okay. You can't play tennis alone.
Okay. You can play tennis alone by yourself.
The children are singing alone.
The children are singing alone by themselves.
Okay, I don't like to go to the movies alone.
I don't like to go to the movies alone by myself.
Without alone.
Without alone.
You have to change alone for by myself, yourself.
Okay.
I don't like to go to the movies alone.
I don't like to go to the movies by myself.
Mary is going alone.
Mary is going by herself.
Professor Taylor prefers to work alone.
Professor Taylor prefers to work himself.
By himself.
By himself. Okay. Professor Taylor prefers to work by himself.
There was too much work for us to do alone.
There was so much work for us to do by ourselves.
Mary is going to go downtown alone.
Mary is going to go downtown by herself.
Do you like to study alone?
Do you like to study by themselves? Yourself.
Yourself.
Okay.
John and Mary were alone.
John and Mary were by themselves.
And there was so much work that I couldn't do it alone.
Okay, yourself isn't the before. Okay, John and Mary were by themselves. There was so much work that I couldn't do it by myself.
Exactly.
Okay. By herself. Okay, we, you, they is with self in plural. Okay, you can't play tennis alone.
You can't play tennis by yourself.
The children are singing alone.
The children are singing by themselves.
I don't like to go to the movies alone.
I don't like to go to the movies by myself.
Mary is going alone.
Mary is going by herself.
Professor Taylor prefers to work alone.
Professor Taylor prefers to work by himself.
There was too much work for us to do alone.
There was too much work for us to do by themselves.
Mary is going to go downtown alone.
No, sorry, me equivoqué en number 6. There was too much work for us to do it by ourselves.
Okay, we have to go.
So
Recording in
grammar is
progress.
Closed. Okay. Natalie, you can't play tennis alone.
You can play tennis by yourself.
Jose, Mary is going alone.
Mary is going by herself.
Valeria, there was too much work for us to do alone.
Oh my God. There was too much work to do to us.
For us to do.
For us to do by ourselves.
Remember that BS sound. By?
By ourselves.
Veronica, do you like to study alone?
Do you like to study by yourself?
Robert, John and Mary were alone.
John and Mary were by themselves.
Millie, I don't like to go to the movies alone.
I don't like to go to the movies by myself.
Viviana, the children are singing alone.
The children are singing by themselves.
And Oneida, Mary is going to go downtown alone.
Anita?
Or she probably stepped away for a minute. All right, guys, any questions on that exercise?
No, teacher. I don't have questions.
Very good. Okay, guys. So now we're going to see a couple of verbs here, guys. Guys, turn to page 272 in your grammar books, okay? If you notice, right, there's a list of verbs here at the beginning where it says additional examples, okay? We'll see that in a minute, and I'll explain everything in a minute, but just so you know, the verbs are here, okay? Whenever I'm using those verbs, guys, enjoy, avoid, insist on, okay? If I have an action after it, I'm always going to add ing to the action, okay? Like this example right here. Can you read the example for me, please, Veronica?
I enjoy dancing very much.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. I enjoy dancing very much.
So if you see, guys, enjoy is one of the verbs in that list, okay? And I have an action directly after it. No. Sorry, I needed an underline. And I'm adding ing to dancing, okay? That's what I'm going to do to all of those verbs whenever I see them, okay? So let's try to do this practice over here. I enjoy dancing very much. All night, Valeria.
Okay, I enjoy dancing very much. No, I enjoy dancing all night.
I mean, all night, it's like past, right? So I enjoyed dancing all night. Keep on, Natalie.
Okay, I kept on dancing all night.
Avoid, Jose.
I avoid dancing all night.
Remember, it's in past. So I avoided.
Avoided.
I avoid it. Okay.
Can't help. Millie?
She can't help.
Well, we're still with I.
I can help dancing.
Remember, we were talking like in past. So I couldn't
help dancing all night.
Guys, whenever you see this phrase, can't help, right? It's not that you can't help the person. It means can't stop, okay? So you can't stop doing the action. She couldn't stop dancing all night, okay? She, Viviana?
She couldn't help dancing all night.
Insisted on, Robert?
She insisted, teacher is in past.
Insisted.
Okay, she insisted on dancing all night.
Working, Oneida?
She insisted on working all night.
Early today, Veronica?
She insisted on working early today.
Get through, Natalie?
She got through working early today.
Consider, Jose?
She considered working early today.
And same over here, guys. Sorry, with get through, the meaning for that phrase together is to finish something, okay? So if the sentence says she got through working early today, she finished working early today, okay? Questions on this exercise right here, guys? Yeah. Right.
Oh, teacher, sorry.
No, mire, Valeria.
All the verbs is in past.
Se me gastó otro.
Not always. It was just in this exercise, okay?
Okay.
Right now that we're going to see the additional examples, they're actually in present, I think. And any other questions, guys?
Teacher, sorry, can you repeat
Dame, dame.
the word keep on or kept on?
It depends, right? If you're using keep on in present, you use keep on, right? Kept on would be in past.
Okay, but in this case, it's kept on.
Yeah, we are doing the exercise in past, so
Okay.
kept on.
Okay, thank you.
Teacher,
Tell me, Robert.
And I don't have to add the verb to be. For example, if I want to say, I enjoy dancing very much. No, yeah, I don't have to add I am.
You can, but it will give it a different meaning. Like I am enjoying dancing right now.
Yeah, it's right now.
Uh-huh. It just depends, guys. All of these verbs, right? You can use them in different times. Like I am going to enjoy dancing tomorrow night.
Mhm.
Or I enjoyed dancing last night. Say, I am enjoying dancing right now, okay?
Okay.
It doesn't really matter. The verb can be in any tense, okay? It just depends how you're going to structure it, okay?
Okay.
The only thing you need to remember is that the action after it is always ing, okay? It doesn't matter if it's present, past, or future.
Always with those verbs.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to page 272, okay? And let's read these additional, examples. Hey, Jose, can you read the first one for me, please? On page 272, in the top. Or right here, I enjoy.
Who did you call, teacher?
Ah, sorry, Jose. I called him.
Okay, so
No, I was waiting.
sorry,
I thought it was
I
not
didn't
like,
hear you,
question.
teacher.
no, I think it was my bad. I'm sorry, because I'm
You
not
were
sure.
lost.
I enjoy dance. I enjoy dancing very much.
Mm-hmm. Millie, I can.
I can keep dancing all night.
Or I can keep on.
Okay. Or I can
Both.
keep on dancing all night.
Viviana, Paul.
Paul avoids going to dances whenever he can.
Oneida, he.
He insists on staying home tonight.
Robert, I must.
I must finish doing my homework before the dance.
I hope Natalie.
I hope I get through working early tonight.
Valeria, will you?
Will you consider helping me with my work?
And Veronica, George.
George can't help asking questions.
Very good. So here, guys, this list, right, where have enjoy keeps on and says, always, if I have an action, ing after, okay? No, hold on, sorry. Verb plus ing, okay? No exception, guys. Verb, sorry, that's okay.
Teacher, I have a question.
Tell me,
In
Rita.
the example with Paul avoids going to dances because why is dances and not dance?
Ah, okay. Dances in this case isn't an action. It's a thing, right? Like when you go to prom or like high school dances.
Ah, okay.
It's an event.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, guys. So with this list right here, always action after it, I'm going to use a verb with ing, okay? Any questions on this, guys?
Teacher, if I, sorry.
Tell me first, Natalie. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, if I say I enjoy to dance, it's incorrect.
It's incorrect.
Okay, always with ing, the second verb.
ing.
Ing, see.
And who was the other question? Was it Millie?
Millie, yeah. Teacher, is there another list of verbs or not?
Yes, we're about to see them.
The following.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions, guys? No? Okay.
No.
So let's go like to the middle of your page, guys. If you go to the middle, you're going to see that I have some sentences with begin, start, continue, prefer, and like. With these, well, with this list, guys, I can use both. I can use ing or I can use to. And it isn't going to affect the sentence, okay? It's going to have the same meaning. Let's look at the first one. Jose, can you read it, please?
Yes. They began studying here last year, and they began to study here last year.
Exactly. So if we pay attention, guys, to these first two sentences, right? They began studying or they began to study. It has the same meaning, okay? The ing and the to doesn't really affect it, okay? Both are correct. Both are common. It's up to you whichever one you want to use, okay?
Okay.
So let's go to the second one. Valeria, can you read they started, please?
Yeah, they started learning English immediately. They started to learn English immediately.
So again, right, the outcome doesn't change if I use ing or to, okay? The same meaning, all right? Let's go to the third example. Veronica, they continue, please. Can you read it?
They continue practicing every day. They continue to practice every day.
Mhm. Same thing, guys. All of these are the same thing, right? Same meaning, and it doesn't affect if I use ing or to, okay? They prefer. Can you read those examples for me, please, Aneda?
Okay, they prefer studying together. They prefer to study together.
Mhm. And can you read the last one for me, please, Viviana? They like?
They like to learn new parents.
And the first sentence, they like?
What do you say?
The first one with ing.
They like learning new parents.
Patterns.
Patterns.
Exactly, guys. So with these 5 verbs, I can use ing and to, and it's going to give the sentence the same meaning, okay? Questions on that, guys?
Teacher, how is more polite to do it?
Actually, it doesn't really affect it. Both are common.
Okay.
Teacher, sorry,
Mhm.
only in this case or in this?
Only with these 5 verbs.
Okay, only with 5 verbs.
Begin, start, continue, prefer, like. Those 5, you can use both, and the sentence is going to have the same meaning, okay?
Okay.
Any other questions, guys?
No, teacher.
No,
Yeah.
teacher.
All right, I need you to skip over exercise 4 for a minute, please. We'll come back to it. And I need you to look all the way at the bottom of your page where it says note. And if you pay attention, we have stop. Stop is another verb where I can use either ing or I can use to. But why is it separate? Okay. Stop and remember are separated from that list because if I use ing or if I use to, it's going to give the sentence a different meaning, okay? If I use stop with a verb with ing, I stopped. Oops, I forgot to put the I. I stopped doing a whatever, well, the action, right? Whatever action is after it. For example, this sentence right here. Can you read the one with ing for me, please, Natalie?
John stopped eating.
So what does this mean? I stopped doing the action. Okay, well, we're the person, right? In this case, it would be that John was eating and he's no longer eating. He stopped doing that action, okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. If I use stop plus to plus a verb, like in the second example, okay, I stopped doing another action to start this one, the one I have in the sentence, okay? Can you read the sentence for me? The second one, Roberts, please.
John stopped to eat.
So exactly. Let's say, I don't know, John was studying, John was doing something, he was doing something else. He stopped doing the other action, and now he's going to start to eat, okay? So this is what this means. He stopped doing something else, and he's going to do the action I'm saying in the sentence, okay?
Okay.
Questions, guys?
Teacher, is supposed
Not
you
clear.
and the second one.
Okay.
I don't know. I have a question. And the second one, John stopped to eat. For example, John was eating. No, John was studying, but he stopped to eat. Yes? Okay.
Yeah, so he's over here, he's studying, right? I'm hungry. I'm going to stop studying. I'm going to go eat, okay? Is that clear, guys?
Yeah.
Teacher,
Here I have.
teacher,
Tell me, Robert.
in this context, can I say John stopped for it?
No,
No.
no. For is normally like for things or for persons, right? Direct. So never like
Okay.
really for actions.
Okay.
And tell me, Valeria.
Teacher, that list of words have a title or something like that to write it.
Gerunds and infinitives.
Infinite. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? That's what you're asking me, like, right? What's its grammatical name? Okay. No, guys? Okay. And there's another one like stop, guys. Oh, look, it was right here. I was writing it. Stop dating means the activity is, but okay. On the next page, guys, on page 273 at the top of the page, we're also going to see remember, okay? Remember is the same thing as stop, okay? If I'm using ing and if I'm using to, it's going to give it different meanings, okay? The first one, when I use remember plus a verb with ing, I did the action and then I remember doing it, okay? Let's look more at the example because I know that one's a little bit confusing. Can you read the first sentence for me, please, Valeria?
Mary remembered writing to her family.
So let's say Mary wrote to her family yesterday. She did it. She went to her room. She wrote the letter, right? Yada, yada, yada. And today she remembers, oh yeah, yesterday I wrote a letter for my family, okay? So she already did the action and she's remembering when she did it, okay? But if I use, I'm right over here because it's not going to fit. Remember plus to plus a verb, okay? She's first going to remember. She needs to do it, okay? Or, well, in this case, she, because I'm talking about Mary, right? And then she's going to do the action, okay? Like this example right here. Can you read the sentence for me, please? The second one, Millie?
Mary remembered to write to her family.
So in this case, she hasn't done the action, right? Or she hadn't done it at that time. She remembers she had to do it, and then she's going to do it, okay? So in the first one, right, when I'm using ing, I first do the action, and then I remember to do it. Well, that I did it, I'm sorry. When I'm using remember plus to, I remember I have to do the action, and then I do it, okay? It's the opposite. Is that clear, guys, or do you have any questions?
For me, it's okay.
Clear, yes.
I think, yes.
I think practice makes perfect, Jose, if not. All right, so let's go ahead. Well, I don't know if you want to take a picture or screenshot one. No, it's explained over here, or take the picture.
I got it.
Ready.
Yeah. I don't know why I was surprised now that I think about it that you guys are in module 26 because I have Anna in the morning and she's in module 27. So that was super close. You guys remember Anna? Anna Maria,
Yes.
was it?
Yeah.
She's with me in the morning. I was like, oh. Same with you guys, right? Okay, guys, so let's go back to page 272. We're going to put into practice the ing verbs, okay? So we're going to do exercise 4. So Betty considered dancing. Enjoys, Natalie?
Betty enjoys dancing.
Kept on, Jose?
Betty kept on dancing.
Working, Valeria?
Betty kept on working.
Veronica insisted on.
Betty insisted on working.
The pronunciation is insisted. Don't sound good.
Insisted on working.
Very good. The boy, Robert, the boys.
The boys insisted on working.
Millie avoided.
The boys avoided on working.
Without on?
The boys avoided on working.
No on.
Without.
The boys avoided working. You only use on for keep on or insist on, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the boys avoided
working.
Yeah. Viviana, studying.
The boys starting working to work.
No, what's the verb? The
To work.
boys.
The boys. Okay, the
avoided.
The boys avoided studying.
There you go. Finished, Oneida.
The boys finished studying.
Let's repeat. Finished.
Yeah. The boys finished studying. Thank you.
Eating, Natalie.
The boys finished eating.
Enjoy, Jose.
The boys enjoy eating.
Valeria.
I enjoy eating.
Kept on, Veronica.
I kept on eating.
Laughing, Robert.
I laughing reading.
Try it again. I kept on.
What was the verb, teacher? The action?
The last sentence is I kept on eating.
Okay.
Laughing.
Okay, I laughing eating.
I kept on
Yeah, I kept on
laughing.
laughing. Okay.
Started, Millie.
I started laughing.
The baby, Viviana.
The baby started laughing.
Laughing. Remember laugh sound.
Okay, laughing.
Oneida, crying.
The baby started crying.
Betty, Natalie.
Betty started crying.
Continued, Jose.
Very continued crying or to cry.
Both are fine. But for this exercise, normally we use ing. So Betty continued crying. Dancing, Valeria.
Betty continued dancing.
Got through, Veronica.
Betty got through dancing.
Considered, Robert.
Betty considered dancing.
Yep, very good. Questions, guys?
No.
Yeah? No. All right. So let's go ahead and practice that in pairs, okay?
Hello.
Hello.
The other teacher is over here.
We finished with the teacher Javier on Friday.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Okay, Betty kept on working, insisted on.
Okay, Betty insisted on working.
The boys.
The boys insisted on working.
Avoided.
On working. Okay. The boys avoided working.
Studying.
The boys avoided studying.
Finished.
The boys finished studying.
Eating.
The boys finished eating.
Enjoy.
The boys enjoyed. No, the boys finished enjoying. To
Enjoy eating.
Enjoy eating. Ah, okay. The answer is the boys enjoyed in present.
In present.
Eating. Okay.
I.
Okay. I enjoy eating.
Kept on.
I kept on eating.
Laughing.
Eating. Okay. I kept on laughing.
Started.
I started laughing.
The baby.
The baby started laughing.
Crying.
The baby started crying.
Betty.
Betty started crying.
Continue.
Betty continued crying.
Dancing.
Betty continued dancing.
Got through.
Betty got through dancing.
Considered.
Betty considered dancing. Finished. Okay. Insisted on. Betty kept on working. Insisted on.
Betty insisted on working.
The boys.
The boys insisted on working.
Avoided.
The boys avoided working.
Studying.
The boys avoided studying.
Finished.
The boys finished studying.
Eating.
The boys finished eating.
Enjoy.
The boys enjoy eating.
I
enjoy eating.
kept on.
I kept on eating.
Laughing.
I kept on laughing.
Started.
I started laughing.
The baby.
The baby started laughing.
Crying.
The baby started crying.
Betty.
Come.
Betty. Betty. Betty.
Okay. Betty started crying.
Okay. Continued. Continue.
Betty continued crying.
Dancing.
Betty continued dancing.
Dancing. Oh,
Betty continued dancing.
Go through. Go through. I don't know how this is pronounced.
Through.
Go through.
Betty got through dancing.
Considered.
Betty considered dancing.
Okay. Oh, sorry. The exercise 1 and number 2. We don't see it, right?
Yes, we did it. Number 1, number 2, and number 3.
Okay. The Friday.
Okay. On Friday.
On Friday. Okay.
Okay, it's my turn to read. Betty kept on working. Insisted on.
Betty insisted on working.
The boys.
The boys insisted on working.
Avoided.
The boys avoided working.
Studying.
The boys avoided studying.
Finished.
The boys finish studying. Okay.
Yes. Eating.
The boys finish eating.
Enjoy.
The boys enjoyed eating.
I
enjoyed eating.
kept on.
I kept on eating.
Laughing.
I kept on laughing.
Started.
I started laughing.
The baby.
The baby started laughing.
Crying.
The baby started crying.
Betty.
Betty started crying.
Continue.
Betty
Continued.
Again, teacher, sorry.
Continued.
Continued.
Betty
No. Hold on. Continued.
Continued.
There you
Do
go.
we have to pronounce the U?
Yeah.
Continued.
Sorry, the last sentence was Betty started crying. Continued.
Betty started crying. Continued. Okay, Betty continued crying.
Dancing.
Betty continued dancing.
Got through.
Betty got through dancing.
And considered.
Betty considered dancing.
Remember, it sounds past a little bit more. Considered.
Considered dancing.
Got in touch. That's cool.
Okay.
Just came.
Okay. Betty kept on working. Insisted on.
Betty insisted on working.
The boys.
The boys insisted on working.
Avoided.
The boys avoided working.
Starting.
The boys avoided studying.
Finished.
The boys finished studying.
Eating.
The boys finished eating.
Enjoy.
The boys enjoy eating.
I
enjoy eating.
kept on.
I kept on eating.
Laughing.
I kept
Laughing. Change that GH to an F. Laughing.
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 Laughing. Okay. Laughing. Laughing.
What was the?
Sorry.
I kept on laughing.
Okay. Started.
I started laughing.
The baby.
The baby started laughing.
Crying.
The baby started crying.
Betty.
Betty started crying.
Continued.
Betty continued crying.
Dancing.
Betty continued dancing.
Got through.
Betty got through dancing.
Considered.
And Betty considered dancing.
Questions, girls?
Okay. Teacher, the pronunciation of the last word is new parents.
Which one?
In this space, new parents. They like to learn new parents.
In the middle of the page, teacher.
Okay, sorry. I was like, what? They like to learn new patterns.
With two R.
Patterns.
Or one R.
Two.
Patterns. Patterns. Okay, thank you.
I was like, where is she? Any other questions, girls?
No, teacher.
No, teacher, thank you.
All right, well, let's go ahead and go back.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
All right, guys. So, grammar books closed, right? So, Betty kept on working. Insisted on, Veronica?
Betty insisted on working.
Valeria, the boys.
The boys insisted on working.
Avoided, Natalie?
The boys avoided working.
Studying, Viviana?
The boys avoided studying.
Finished. Jose?
The boys finished studying.
Eating. Robert?
The boys finished eating.
Enjoy. Millie?
The boys enjoy eating.
I, Oneida?
I enjoy eating.
Stephanie, were you able to practice or no?
No.
No? Okay, no, that's why I asked. I saw that you came in a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was at the doctor's.
No worries. Hope everything's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Guys, any questions? No? All right. So let's do the last grammar exercise. I know it's been a while. It's on page 273, guys. We're going to do exercise 5. Guys, with this exercise, we're going to practice the verbs that are followed by ing, right? The ones that we just learned. And the ones that are followed by to. If you want to refresh, right, your memory, the ones that are followed by to, guys, are in your grammar book on page 130, okay? If you go all the way back to like lesson 13, over here, right, at 130, you're going to see a box. Here are some of the words, well, some of the verbs, sorry. And 130, Most of them are there. 130. And if you go to page 135, those are also followed by to, okay? So page 130, 135 are the verbs that are followed by to, okay?
Okay.
In case you want to refresh that. And okay, what we're going to do, oops. Hey guys, before we do this exercise, I haven't taken attendance. So before I forget, let me go ahead and do that, okay? Today's day 4 of the module, how you told me. Okay, so Caleb, not here. Stephanie.
I think he left.
He left the program.
Yeah, I think teacher.
All right. He hasn't been here in a couple of days. Or in a while.
Yeah.
I'll send the secretaries a message. Hold on. So if not, I forget everything. Hey, ask about Caleb. What's his last name? Segreda. Well, I don't know what the last name is. Segreda. Okay. Stephanie's there. Iris is on this group. Iris is here. Jose is there. Millie is there. Natalie is there. Orman is there. Is that your first name?
Robert.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Robert.
teacher.
I almost put you absent. Sorry.
Don't worry.
Anita's there. Sharon isn't here. Veronica.
It's me. It's
Oh
Valeria.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
See, why do you guys go by your middle name?
I don't know why.
All right, Valeria is there, Veronica is there, and Viviana is there. What happened to, what was her name?
Susana, teacher.
What happened to Susana? She's not here.
No, she left the
program.
course.
Yeah, like a couple of days ago.
Very sad.
Well, if she's in the group, if you guys have a WhatsApp group, tell her I say hi.
She have a lot of work in this moment.
Well, a blessing that she has a lot of work right
Yeah.
now.
Yes, it's good for her.
It's good for her, yeah, definitely. I mean, too sad that she left the program, right? But happy that she has a lot of work. But okay, guys, so let's go to exercise 5. We're going to practice all of those verbs with ing, to, or both.
Teacher, I
Tell
have
me,
a
Valeria.
question. When the word is couldn't, it's not the same that the application that we saw it, right?
No, the
It's
past one, when
another
I said
one.
couldn't
Yeah.
have.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, that's a past model. That's
Okay.
different.
Okay.
Okay, so Mary enjoys swim very much. Veronica?
Mary enjoys Enjoy swimming very much.
She likes swim in the lake. Valeria?
She likes swimming in the lake, or she likes to swim in the lake.
Natalie, she wanted go there last Saturday.
She wanted to go there last Saturday.
Viviana, she decided asked Bill and John to go with her.
Okay, she decided asking Bill and John to go with her.
Try that again. She decided
Asking.
To us.
To
To
us.
ask.
Yeah, decide is a to verb.
Okay. She decided to ask Bill and John.
Jose, they wanted to go very much.
They wanted to go very much.
Robert, they considered take the bus.
They consider taking the bus.
Millie, John insisted on take his car.
John insisted on taking his car.
Oneida, they needed change a tire first.
They needed to change a tire first.
Stephanie, they got through, change it at 10 o'clock.
They got through to change it at 10 o'clock.
They got through changing.
Change.
Stephanie, you came a little bit later. Sorry, on page 272, at the top where it says additional examples, those are the verbs that are normally followed with ing, okay? So you can look at them.
Okay, thanks.
Veronica, they started drive immediately.
They started driving immediately.
Or
they started to drive immediately.
Remember, start is with both, guys. I make you emphasize it so like you get it in your head. Valeria, they enjoyed drive through the country.
They enjoy driving through the country.
Natalie, they kept on laugh and sing all the way.
They kept on laughing and singing all the way.
Very good. Guys, with that, be careful, right? Because sometimes you guys just think it's the first action that you add ing. No, both of these actions apply to I'm sorry, which one was it? It kept on. So with both, you add ing, okay? They kept on laughing and singing, okay? Always.
Okay.
And number 10, Viviana. They learned sing some new songs.
Okay, they learn singing some new songs.
To sing.
To sing.
To sing.
They learn to sing some new songs.
Jose, they stopped sing when they got to the lake.
They start to sing when they got to the lake.
Or
they stopped singing when they got to the lake. Okay,
Robert.
in this case, both.
Yeah,
this case
stop is
are
with
both.
both. Yeah, remember stop was the exception that they had like different meanings that I went over the meanings.
That is the
In the part of note, in the last page.
Yes, but it's different meaning, no?
Yes. For example, let's look at that one. It says, right, they stopped singing when they got to the lake. They were singing, la, 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 la. They got to the lake, they stopped. And if I use they stopped to sing when they got to the lake, they were doing something else. They stopped, they started singing, okay?
Okay.
Robert, they had expected to swim before lunch.
They had expected to swim before lunch.
Millie, but Bill insisted on eat immediately.
But Bill insisted on eating immediately.
Anita, Mary had remembered bring a lunch.
Okay, Mary had remembered to bring a lunch, or Mary had remembered bringing a lunch. Okay.
Stephanie, they finished eat at 1 o'clock.
They finished eating at 1 o'clock.
Veronica, they began swim at 1:30.
They began swimming at 1:30 or they began to swim at 1:30.
Valeria, they avoided go into deep water.
They avoided going into deep water.
Natalie, they continued to swim all afternoon.
They continued swimming all afternoon, or they continued to swim all afternoon.
Viviana, John couldn't help think about his homework.
John couldn't help to think about his homework.
Couldn't help thinking.
Ah, teacher, it's complicated. Thinking, okay.
And Jose, he had planned to do it that afternoon.
Okay, he had planned to do it that afternoon.
Good. Questions, guys?
No.
No, now, teacher.
No, in the evaluation, teacher.
In the evaluation, I don't know.
When I used to, when I
In the application.
She
Okay.
tell me.
Okay.
Guys, it's going, sorry, give me a minute, Viviana. It's as mean as it sounds, it's going to be easier if you learn the ones with ing. Why? Because there are 5, right? And obviously the ones where you use both, but where you use 2, it's like, I don't know, like 20 or more. There are more words. I would recommend, right? Probably going over the ones with ing, right? Obviously go over both, but it's easier to learn the ones with ing because there are less verbs, okay? Tell me, Viviana.
Okay. If I see only the additional examples, enjoy, keep on, avoid, insist, I need to use only ing.
Yes.
Okay.
Teacher,
Tell me, Robert.
and number 12, it's only with 2, right?
Yes, expected is only with 2.
Okay.
Teacher, and 19?
With ing?
With ing.
Yeah, because remember, let's look at the additional example. George can't help asking questions. It's the same thing only, right, that I'm talking in past. That's why I use couldn't help.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And the last one is with 2.
Yes, planned is with 2. Any other questions, guys?
No, pity no.
No. All right, go ahead and practice in pairs.
Okay, she decided, ask Bill and John to go with her.
Okay, she decided to ask Bill and John to go with her.
They wanted to go very much.
They wanted to go very much.
They considered take the bus.
They considered taking the bus.
John insisted on take his car.
John insisted on taking his car.
They needed to change a tire first.
They needed to change a tire first.
They got through change it at 10 o'clock.
They got through changing at 10 o'clock.
They started drive immediately.
They started to immediately. They started to drive immediately, or they started driving immediately.
They enjoyed drive through the country.
They enjoyed to drive through the country.
They kept on laugh and sing all the way.
They kept on laughing, sing all the way.
They learned sing when they got to the lake.
They stopped to sing when they got to the lake, or they stopped singing when they got to the lake.
They had expected swim before lunch.
They had expected to swim before lunch.
But Bill insisted on it immediately.
But Bill insisted on eating immediately.
Mary had remembered bring a lunch.
Mary had remembered to bring a lunch, or Mary had remembered to bringing lunch. A lunch.
They finished it at 1 o'clock.
Okay, they finished it at 1 o'clock. Eating at 1 o'clock.
They began swim at 1:30.
They began to swim at 1:30, or they began swimming at 1:30.
They avoided go into deep water. Not deep water.
They avoided to go into deep water.
Again?
They avoided to go into deep water.
No, they avoided going.
Going. Okay, they avoided going into deep water.
They continued swim all afternoon.
They continued swimming all afternoon, or they continued to swim all afternoon.
John couldn't help think about his homework.
John couldn't help thinking about his homework.
He had planned to do it that afternoon.
He had planned to do it that afternoon. Okay, I don't understand clearly. In what case I need to use to, because I was trying to see the before examples, but it's the same.
This is just memory. We have to learn from memory.
Okay. She decided to ask Bill and John to go with her.
She decided to ask Bill and John to go with her.
They wanted to go very much.
They wanted to go very much.
They considered take the bus.
They considered taking the bus.
John insisted on take his car.
John insisted on taking his car.
They needed change a tire first.
They needed to change the tire first.
Okay, they got through, changed it at 10 o'clock.
They got through changing at 10 o'clock.
They started driving immediately.
They started driving immediately.
They enjoyed drive through the country.
They enjoyed driving through the country.
They kept on laugh and sing all the way.
They kept on laughing and singing all the way.
They learned to sing some new songs.
They learned to sing some new songs.
They stopped singing when they got to the lake.
They stopped singing when they got to the lake.
They had to expect swim before lunch.
They had expected to swim before lunch.
But Bill insisted on it immediately.
But Bill insisted on eating immediately.
Mary had remembered to bring a lunch.
Mary had remembered to bring a lunch.
They finished it at 1 o'clock.
They finished eating at 1 o'clock.
They began swim at 1:30.
They began swimming at 1:30.
They avoided to go into deep water.
They avoided going into the deep water.
They continued swim all afternoon.
They continued swimming all afternoon.
All afternoon. John couldn't help think about his homework.
John couldn't help thinking about his homework.
He had planned to do it that afternoon.
He had planned to do it that afternoon. Okay, she decided ask Bill and John to go with her.
She decided to ask Bill and John to go with her.
They wanted to go very much.
They wanted to go very much.
They considered take the bus.
They considered taking the bus.
John insisted on take his car.
John insisted on taking his car.
They needed change a tire first.
They insisted. They insisted on taking his car.
No, number 5.
Yes. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. They needed to change a tire first.
They got through change it at 10 o'clock.
They go through changing at 10 o'clock.
They started drive immediately.
They started driving immediately.
They enjoyed drive through the country.
They enjoyed to drive through the country.
They kept on laughed and sing all the way.
They kept on laughing and sing all the way.
They learned to sing some new songs.
They learned to sing some new songs.
They stopped singing when they got to the lake.
Read to the lake. They stopped to sing when they got to the lake.
They had expected swim for lunch.
They had expected to swim before lunch.
But Bill insisted on it immediately.
But Bill insisted on eating immediately.
Recording in progress.
Guys, before we check the exercise, I'm going to talk to you for a minute because your previous teacher should have told you this on day 1 of the module, but he probably forgot. Guys, for the next module, you're going to need another book, okay? The book, sorry, I dropped my pens. The book, it's called English in Common, okay? It's this book right here.
English in Common.
For this book, guys, well, this book, if you notice, well, you guys are almost in the advanced program, right? Advanced program, right? You don't use your grammar book. You don't use your dialogues and reading. You don't use side by side. You don't use like any of your other books. So this English in Common is like a substitution for those books, right? Because the English in Common has readings, the English in Common has speaking activities, the English in Common has like everything. Give me a minute. I just asked for the price. So let's see. Okay, it is a little expensive, guys, but I mean you're going to use it for it's 15,500. Okay. You guys are on day 4 of the module, right? So you do still have like a couple of days. Obviously, if you can get it for the next module, I'm not going to tell you, Natalie, you need to have the book. Too bad. you know, right? I'm going to project it the first couple of days, okay? Well,
Okay.
I'll project it every time, right, here in class, or every time we use it. But I mean, I project it, but because it's not like an Intensa book, right? Like the ones we have scanned, it sometimes doesn't look as clearly. Like for example, I have it here if you pay attention, right? But for example, let's go to page 1. You can see this here, but I mean, sometimes it's a little, well, I don't think this is the best example because I feel you can't see it. For example, when you're, well, no, most of the time you can see it. It's like very, I think it's like with making friends, or is it? You see, sometimes it looks a little smudgy, right? I mean, you can see it, right? But, right, most people say, no, teacher, I prefer to see it, obviously, right? But no, obviously, right, the first couple of days or always your teacher should always protect your books, right? But some don't. So in this case, I'll always project them, and obviously, right, if at some point you don't have it and you're with a different teacher, like, hey, teacher, project the book.
Okay.
And they'll need to project it, okay? But yeah, it's at Intensa. I don't know if we're still like, we still have that service where we sell, well, where we send books to the house, like for an additional cost, right? You'd have to call and ask. I'm not sure.
It's very expensive.
But I think it's because you live far away, isn't it?
No,
Where do you live, Natalie?
I live in Guapiles, but it's it costs 5,000. Yes. Only for the shipping. Uh-huh.
I know. Well, yeah, I think it would have been cheaper to go to Intensa.
Yes, it's more cheaper.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like I do know Intensa's open, right? It's open with its regular schedule, right? It's Monday to Saturday, where Mondays it's open like, I don't know, from 8:30 a.m. No, hold up. From 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., okay? Monday to Friday. And on Saturdays, it's open from 8:30 a.m. to midday, okay? Midday is 12 o'clock, if anything, right?
Teacher, we will read that book next module or in advanced module? I don't understand.
Next module.
Next module.
Teacher.
What is the price, teacher? You said, but I
The price is 15,500. Para que quedemos claros, ¿verdad? No quiero 15,500, ¿verdad? Vale el libro.
15,000 rojos.
15,000 reds.
Teacher.
Tell me.
And what about idioms?
Idioms, you will still use them. Actually, today we're going to see. Well, I mean,
we have to buy it.
You don't have to. Well, you should have already bought it like in module 22 or something. But if not, like normally we project that, like, and that looks real clear. So, I mean, if you want to buy it.
And can we buy the books in PDF?
Ooh, I'm not sure, Robert. I think, I don't know.
It's because for me it's a little difficult to go at the site.
Yeah, you would have to call like Intensa and ask that because I'm not sure. Sorry, Robert.
I will.
I've actually never been asked that. In my 4 years here, this is the first time someone asked that. All right. Besides that, guys, any other questions?
No, teacher.
No. Yeah, so I mean, for the next module, right, you do have your evaluation, like today's day 4, right? So be conscious of that. But of course, right, if you can't have it for the next module, as I told you, right, I'll project it until you're able to buy it, okay? All right, any questions before I check the exercise? No? All right. Well, and also, well, no, the notebook, well, in theory, we should recommend you also to have like a small notebook, right? Because of the same thing, right? English in Common, sometimes there's listenings where it's like, listen to this conversation. What are the 3 messages about? Message 1, right? So like a small notebook is recommended, but sometimes you guys just write in your book, right? Like, message 1 is this. But right, we have to recommend it as well.
I need it.
You
because
need
my memory is very bad.
No, but I mean,
I forget
the book
immediately
has,
when.
the book has space, right? Like, for example, like over here, right? I don't know.
Okay.
Like, you see?
I can
Here I
see. Let
have,
me see, teacher.
you can't really
Ah,
see, but you
yes.
see, like, I have things written here. So you see, like, there's some space, right? But, right, so you don't, like, write on your books. I didn't write in my books. Right? In theory, that's why we recommend a small notebook. But most of the students are like, listening one is about an advertising ad. Right? Like, it's no problem. It's your book, right? All right.
Teacher,
Tell
so,
me, Lily.
so what is going to happen with the grammar book of lesson from 27 to 30?
Okay, so in this module, we see lesson 26, 27, also 28 as well. And lesson 30 is a review module, right? Like the one we saw, remember? In module 20, 21, right? Reviewing the grammar. And that's for the next module. Next module, you review that. And then you're done with the grammar book.
No more grammar book.
You won't use it. I'd recommend not throwing it away, right? Because in the advanced modules, well, it's super useful, first of all, right? And in the advanced modules, we review like the hardest grammar, let's say like conditionals that you guys just saw the past module, right? She will go if she buys a new ticket, right? That module.
It's a headache.
So yeah, we review that, right? So like I recommend always having your grammar book there. You don't have to, right? But in the advanced modules, we don't use it, but we do review, I call it specific grammar that was difficult. Except in module 27. In module 27, what we see is like basic tenses, like, is the woman knitting a sweater? Yes, she is knitting a sweater. And she is, just to have like your basis, right? Your basic structure. Because sometimes you guys, I don't know why, you enter the advanced module and you want to do, and the woman is going over this and this, and you forget like your basic structures. You say the woman running to the kitchen, and I'm like, where's your, the woman is running to the kitchen. But yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah.
It happens. Not all the time, but it does happen, okay? All right. Any other questions, guys? All right. So let's go ahead and check the exercise, guys. Where did I closed everything? Here it is. So Veronica, she decided, ask Bill and John to go with her.
She decided to ask Bill and John to go with her.
Viviana, John insisted on take his car.
John insisted on taking this car.
His car.
His car.
Natalie, they got through. Change it at 10 o'clock.
And they go through changing at 8 o'clock.
Changing it.
Changing it at 8 o'clock.
10.
At 10 o'clock.
But I mean, it was a time, just, listening skills. Jose, sorry, they enjoy drive through the country.
They enjoyed driving through the country.
Millie, they learned sing some new songs.
They learned to sing some new songs.
Robert, Mary had remembered bring a lunch.
Mary had remembered to bring her lunch. Or Mary had remembered bringing her lunch.
Oneida, they continue to swim all afternoon.
Okay, they continued swimming all afternoon.
Valeria, they began swim at 1:30.
They began to swim at 1:30.
And Stephanie, he had planned do it that afternoon.
He had planned to do it that afternoon.
To do it. try to connect that to do it, okay?
Okay.
All right, guys, questions?
Nobody knows.
No, teacher.
All right, no worry, we'll re-practice that so you guys have it there.
We have
But
to
for
practice.
now, you can put away your grammar books.
Teacher,
Tell me, Viviana.
I'm going to send you a book in PDF. When it's finished, can you see it in your phone, please?
Yeah, well, why? To see if it's a book we're
Yes,
using?
but
or-
it is sending. It's in process.
Okay. You still had my number. I know, I sent it in the
Yes,
chat.
teacher.
All right. Okay,
Teacher.
guys. Tell me, Robert.
Which module do you think that is the hardest?
I think the past module that you guys just went through, module 24. And the
Now
next
I'm
one.
happy.
The 24
And the
is
next one's a
very
little bit
hard.
hard. Conditionals is extremely hard.
Yeah, teacher. I agree.
Especially
day.
like
It's
if
like a
you don't
day.
have someone that explains it clearly. Like sometimes there's people that explain it, right? But there's like sometimes that they don't know like how to explain it. So you guys are like, so do I use will? Do I use would? Do I use would have? What do I use?
In fact, I was thinking in left, teacher.
In leaving? No, you're almost there, Robert. No,
That's
but I'm glad you
crazy.
stayed. It is. It's a hard module. I mean, the next one's a little bit hard because you review like all of the grammar, right? So most of the time you're like using must have, should have, could have, conditionals again, and you guys are like,
Yeah.
we'll get through it. We'll get through it, Robert. All right.
For sure, I'm going
Yes,
to do it.
You're almost done, Robert. Like I wouldn't quit.
Yeah.
I mean, like a couple more months, and the advanced modules are very different. You like talk a lot, so you guys are gonna see that it's more enjoyable most of the time. Okay. But all right, guys, I have a question. With the questions about battering, did you see, well, with domestic violence, did you see all of the questions, or did you only see the first 5 questions?
I think
You
that
only
just the
read
first part.
one page.
Yes.
I wasn't sure because he had it marked, but I don't know, in the planner it's weird, so I wanted to ask. But we're not going to do that. Take all your topics for conversation, guys. And you're going to turn to the unisex beauty salon, right? We're going to do speaking task number 3, okay? And Valeria, can you read the task for me, please?
Yeah, some people prefer a male hairstylist. Okay. Some people prefer a male
Others.
hair.
I'm sorry. You're reading again. Some people.
Yeah. Prefer a male hairstylist. Others like a female hairstylist. How do you feel about having a woman hairstylist? Give your opinion and reasons to support it.
And reasons.
And reasons to support it.
Uh-huh. Guys, I do know it's a little sexist, but sorry. Okay. So in this case, guys, remember, number 3, I don't want you to compare. I don't want you to tell me advantages and disadvantages. I only want to hear what are your thoughts on this topic and why, okay? What topics, sorry. Having a woman hairstylist, okay? So in this case, I think most of the time, right, it's difficult, like for guys, for example. Teacher, but I've never had a woman hairstylist. Okay,
Teacher,
it's fine. Tell me, Jose.
I don't have hair. Sorry. For business, the same. I don't know, 25 years ago with a stylist.
Very good point.
For business, I forget that.
Okay.
You keep your money.
But you had hair, right? Before.
Yeah, but 25 years ago, teacher, I forget that.
He is saving a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes. In shampoo and
Conditioner, cutting edge.
shampoo, conditioner, okay, and time with that I don't have to what did you say, peinar? I don't know, in the
Help?
morning.
Help? How do you say that, guys?
Oh, peinar.
Brush.
Brush your
Brushing.
hair.
Brushing.
Okay.
Brush
I
the
I
hair.
didn't have I didn't
Brush.
I
Yeah, no.
didn't have brushing in the morning. I take a shower
Yeah,
and
that's
ready.
And I spent like half an hour washing it, another half an hour like putting conditioner, another half an hour combing it.
Yes.
That
If
is
if
the women's life.
Yeah, that's why I hate long hair. But I donate it, so but because of COVID, I haven't gone to cut my hair. So this is why it's always in a bun. 9 out of 10 times you're gonna see my hair in a bun. But okay, well, Jose, I know you haven't had hair in a while, but
I don't
okay,
know.
you can specify that, okay? Like, okay, in my opinion, I haven't had hair in a while, but when I did, I feel that a woman hairstylist would be a good option, would be a bad option, doesn't matter, right? Okay.
Actually, for me, it's the same. If both do his or their work good, it's the same.
Well, in my opinion, I don't like going to women hairstylists because I've had bad experiences in the past. Like 3 times they've messed up my hair. So I only go to one guy and that's it. So like, yeah, guys, what you think, right? Like, so in my case, I would say, I feel that having a woman hairstylist isn't the option for me because I've had bad experiences in the past. Although, right? Whatever you think, like your opinions and why you think that's okay, guys. Don't compare. Okay, hey, I can have a woman hairstylist or a guy hairstylist. No, okay. Only opinions on woman hairstylists, okay? Having a
Okay.
woman cut your hair, okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and take a picture or a screenshot of this, please. Got it, guys?
Yes.
All right. So remember the first time you're like exploring in pairs? Normally when you're switching for the second time, right? Because I switched in 2 pairs, it takes a while. Try to time yourselves, right? Remember, this is a minute you have to last, okay?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay, do you want to start or?
Okay, let me see. Okay, in my personal opinion, I prefer a man hair stylist because a woman hair stylist because I think the woman can to tell me all the recommendations about the fashion. Ideally speaking, if I want to put another color in my hair, nonetheless, what do you mean nonetheless?
I think that it's something like however or besides.
Okay.
Let me check. Sin embargo.
Okay. Nonetheless, if a man hair stylist is seeing my hair, I don't have problem. Which means that if he wants to cut my hair or if he wants to brush my hair or make something, I don't have problem. In my personal case, I always had a woman stylist, but it can change. It could change as a matter of fact, that in all the beauty salon always is woman. In little cases, there are men. But online, I can go to the unisex beauty salons. Okay.
Okay, in my personal opinion, having a woman hairstyle or a man hairstyle, it's no a big deal. The important thing is that you visit someone that know how to do a good job. And in my personal case, I have always visit woman hairstyles, and I feel comfortable with that. But one day I would like to visit a beauty salon where a man. No, I would like to visit a man hairstyle because I have heard good recommendations about them. And what is bottom line?
But like finally.
Okay. I don't know, bottom line. Okay, bottom line, I think that I prefer to visit a woman hairstyle, but it's just because I never had visit a man hairstyle. Maybe when I do it, I change my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me see the other. Okay, some people prefer. This is the number. Mm-hmm. Okay, again. Okay, in my personal opinion, some people prefer. Oh, if it's a woman, the woman client, she prefer go to the beauty salon when other woman is attending. But in my case, I prefer a woman too, but ideally speaking, talking in an unisex beauty salon, because I think the man doesn't have experience cutting the hair or putting dye in the hair, or putting to dye in the hair. And nonetheless, I prefer always the woman when she's cutting or brushing the hair. Let me see. Bottom line, that in the beauty salon, I always am attending like with other woman, never with a man. Okay, your turn.
Boy. Okay, in my personal opinion, having a woman hairstyles or a man hairstyle is not so important. The important thing is go to a place where this stylist know how to do a good job. In my case, I have never visited a man hairstyle, I have always gone to the woman is, I don't know. In my personal case, I have always gone with a woman woman stylist, and I liked their job, and I feel comfortable going with a woman stylist. Is female hairstylist. But since that I have never visited a men hairstyle, I would like to do it some days because I have heard good recommendations about them. So maybe when I visit a man hairstyle, I change my opinion.
Mhm. Okay, again, let me see. Okay, in my personal opinion, I always prefer a woman in a beauty salon because I think she has a lot of experience attending people or cutting people. Ideally speaking, about unisex beauty salon because I think it's that it can have a lot of clients or woman clients. Nonetheless, the beauty salon it has more woman clients. In my personal case, the beauty salon always has more woman clients. That means, but online, let me see. But online, if I need to dye my hair, I only prefer woman.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I need more vocabulary about this beauty salon.
Yes, me too, because it has a lot of vocabulary.
Split and trimmer. Okay, in my personal opinion, having a woman hairstyle or a man hairstyle is not so important. Important thing is that you go to a place where you feel comfortable and where the stylists know how to do a great job. In my personal case, I have always gone with a female stylist. I like their job and I feel comfortable. But since I have never visited a men's hairstyle, I would like to do it someday because I have heard good recommendations about them. Give your
Okay,
opinion,
I
please.
share in the group I share in the group of Intensa the book that we go to see in the next module.
Ah, you have it.
Yeah. In this moment, I did download.
Mm, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Let's go.
Recording in
Recording in
progress.
That's
Alright, guys. Sorry?
in Zoom.
Yeah. All of our classes are recorded.
Yes,
Recording.
but before Zoom didn't say something about
Yeah, I don't know. I
that.
think there was an update and it now tells you
It's,
guys, but it always
it's the
told like the host.
it's the
But
application
uh-huh. Yeah.
because this afternoon I was in a meeting. Say me too. It's a
Mhm.
recording.
Yeah,
The
probably it's something
application.
new. Because I
Uh,
mean, always before, like it always appeared to me in the top left corner. And today a student was like, teacher, why is this class being recorded? What's different? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, what? I was like, no, every class is recorded, dude. Why? I was like, because in case you guys say I'm a bad teacher, they need to check why. Teacher, no. She's like, but I didn't say that. And I'm like, I'm just saying. But all right, guys. Do you want to check it and then go to break? So go to break a little bit later, or do you want to go to break and then come back and do it?
We can check now.
Yeah, it's better
It's
right
just
now.
hard to do it
Check
now.
now.
And you have to give us 30 minutes.
No, I'll give you as much time as you take. Remember? All right, guys. Volunteer. Crickets. Robert, give me a number, please, between 1 and 8.
5.
Up or down? Just choose one, up or down.
Upper.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hi, Veronica. You were the chosen one. So whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start, and I have the timer over here, okay?
Okay. In my personal opinion, having a female hairstyle or a man hairstylist is not so important. The important thing is that you go to a place where you feel comfortable and with someone that know how to do a great job. In my personal case, I have always gone with a woman stylist, and I feel comfortable with their job. I think that they have abilities for that. But since I have never visited a man hairstylist, I would like to do it some days because I have heard good recommendations about them, about they too.
Are you? Well, very good. That was like a second left, but good. All right. Just a couple of things, Veronica, right? Someone that I don't know if you didn't sound yes, or you for I. Someone that knows, right? Because one person, okay? Comfortable with their job, but you're talking about the hairstylist, so comfortable with her job. And about them, I've heard good things about them. So besides that, very good. Questions, guys? I need coffee. No. All right. So it's actually 8:03.
go ahead and take your break, and I'll see you guys at 8:18. Okay.
Okay, bye, teacher.
Bye.
¿Quién hizo ese gatito, va? Ah, ¿de verdad? ¿Allá dibuja, no? Ah. Mira, ¿sabes qué? Se pelearon, digamos, porque con los juicios de mi casa todavía pelamos, porque me castigaron como que yo actué con malicia, yo no sé por qué. Porque él no me... Entonces ahí están los abogados peleando. Desde el 2012 divorciada y después de ahí desde el 2016 entonces no sé un mes peleé y peleé y peleé. No me tocaría pagar y digamos de mi casa. Lo que pasa es que ahora la juez me castigó y dijo que, o sea, ese juicio, esa sentencia está mala, entonces hay que volver a pelear. Me están castigando con pagar 33 millones. Claro, yo no me dijo mamá. David, porque hay un error, están tomando en cuenta la mitad de la construcción de mi casa, cuando la casa tiene deudas, préstamos de todo, y eso no lo están contemplando. Entonces hay un error ahí, entonces hay que volver a pelear, volver a decir. También de título no. salía uno un montón de tiempo. ¿Lo de qué? ¿Cómo? No, de mi trabajo es otra cosa, pero eso es para que nos paguen una plata que no tengo. Pero eso yo no sé cuánto me dura. Sí, pero no es mucho, pero de algo es algo, son como 3 millones, no, como, sí, como 3 o 4 millones. O sea, no es mucho, no, pero a la vez es un montón porque hay compañeros que están demandando y tienen 100 millones. Sí, porque son plazos que no nos han pagado. A ellos no les han pagado desde hace como 30 años. A mí fueron solo como 5 años, no sé. Pero a ellos de toda la vida, que no les pagaron. Por ejemplo, las extras o tiempos así, que a uno lo mandaban obligado a trabajar y no nos pagaban. Entonces eso es lo que se peleó o se está peleando. Pero ya se ganó, nada más falta que el juez diga que ya lo paga. Pero ya el juicio ya se ganó y ya nos dieron la razón. Porque, por ejemplo, antes yo iba a las 11 de la noche a trabajar, a la hora que me dijeran, que me decían 10 de la noche tiene que ir a la oficina, a las 11, a la hora que pueda. Entonces yo tenía que manejar a la hora que pueda y no me pagaban nada. Nada de nada. Entonces el juez dijo que sí tenían que pagar, que no nos podían inscribir a ir a cualquier hora y así. Pero en mi caso eran como pocos años, 4 o 5, no sé. Pero el caso de ellos sí era de toda la vida. Entonces, uno dice, bueno, qué pereza que toda la vida no le pagaron, pero hay gente que ya se está pensionando. Entonces ya sus edades de viejitos van a recibir 100 millones. Sí. De ese compañero que murió también de COVID, que supongo que la plata se la van a la familia, no sé qué va a pasar, eran como 83 millones. Y sabe que es lo peor, que ese señor tenía casas, tenía de todo. Y gay. Gay, sin hijos. ¿Sí? ¿Usted sabe que ese señor es familia de mi abuela? O primo, no, 40, o no sé. ¿El muchacho? Sí. Él es hijo, de hecho la señora se llama, un día llama y dice la señora, llama por teléfono y le digo, sí, ¿con quién desea hablar? Me dice, dice Barrantes. Le digo, sí señora, pero ¿con quién desea usted hablar? Y me dice, con Daisy Barrantes. Y yo digo, ¿de parte de quién? Daisy Barrantes. Y yo sabía en qué me estaba hablando. ¿Ah? Y la señora se llamaba Daisy Barrantes. Y le dice la señora a mi abuelita, uy, qué muchacha tan extraña la que me atendió. Pero era que yo decía que vieja esa, más irrespetuosa, no me quiere decir el nombre. Y era que se llamaba igual, pero ya no me dijo que se llamaba igual. Y yo le pregunto, ¿de parte de quién? Solo me decía, dice Barrantes, y yo qué más se llamaba. Y a esa señora, el muchacho que se murió, un abogado, que mataron, él estaba a las 11 de la noche en la casa. Y entraron, lo mataron unos colombianos. Dice que por que no jugaron. Sí, él estaba con una amiga. ¿De verdad? Ah, él estaba con la muchacha. Hoy ella era seguro, a mí me pasaron el video, la que daba gritos, seguro. ¡Ay, no, Fabi! Qué horrible, se me paró el pelo. Sí, yo vi los videos. Claro, yo no sé por qué graban eso. Pero la muchacha estaba descompuesta. Uy, pobrecito. Sí, pero qué raro, así que era marcotado él. Como que él andaba como malos pasos, no sé. De hecho, los que lo seleccionaron eran colombianos. Sí, eran unos colombianos porque en el grupo que yo estoy del colegio decían que el muchacho no andaba así como bien portado. No se sabe que en Dios andaba, pero como... Ah, sí. No, pero eso es una cosa. Sí, claro, eso es algo que tenemos. Llevé al hijo de Madrid, de María Sasonina, con toda la plata que tenían y todo. O sea, que no tenían ninguna necesidad y metido el muchacho en esas carajadas. Y que no tenía ninguna necesidad. Yo tuve un novio, ¿sabes? Hace 1000 años. Un novio como de un mes. Un noviecillo, ¿eh? Y él tenía un hermano, apellido Centeno. Y el muchacho, el hermano de él, o no sé, o el primo, no me acuerdo bien, como que se metió $1.000 y el chiquillo era menor de edad y mataron, hicieron un desastre y el muchacho sabe que era gente demasiada plata, imagínense que tanta era la plata que pagaron, un avión se llevaron a Caracas y eso el desorden y de todo. O sea, hay gente que no entiende, que no tiene necesidad de meterse en un grupo y hacen cosas tan raras. Cualquiera. Yo tenía un compañero que él, un señor, vea, perdió la familia, perdió todo. Se metió una apuesta de esos de casino y no sé qué, y perdió todo también. No, no, es tanta cosa. Como dijo un compañero hoy, después de que pasó eso de mi casa, él decía, es mejor comer arroz, frijoles, nada más, y dormir tranquilo, que ser un dedo de esos exponiendo la familia. Yo le decía que el caso de Colombia era una muchacha con un bebé. Yo no sé si usted se acuerda, la muchacha que se mató porque debía plata y le daba miedo que le hicieran algo al bebé a la familia. Demasiado. Sí. ¿Sabes? Le da la mano.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and continue. But before I continue, I'm going to take attendance, all right? So, Caleb hasn't been here a couple of days. Stephanie,
Here, present.
Iris, Jose,
Present. I was in mute.
Neely,
Sorry.
Here, teacher.
Natalie,
Present.
Robert, give him a minute. Oneida, Valeria,
Here.
They are reading.
Veronica,
Present.
and Viviana.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So
Teacher,
just
I'm here.
confirm. Okay. Oh, that was you, right, Oneida?
Sorry,
Robert, are you there? Yes, no? Robert going once? Robert going twice? Robert not there. Okay, guys, so you told me in your dialogues and reading, I'm sorry, you did the first part of the questions, right, about domestic violence?
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and practice it again. So take a picture, a screenshot of this, please.
Present, teacher.
Too late.
A little too late, Robert.
Teacher, I was in the store.
All right. Do you have the picture, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're lucky I haven't sent it, Robert. If not, you would be absent.
Sorry, teacher. Teacher, was a mistake.
Was
And it was too full. All right. And let's take another one of this one, guys, please. Got it, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Got it.
Ready.
So let's go ahead and practice some pairs.
Okay, what is bothering?
Okay, it's a behavior in which a person establishes power and control over another person by using fear, intimidation, and violence.
Who are usually batterers and who are usually the victims?
Men are the most common perpetrators, women are the most common victims, although children and the elderly also suffer from domestic violence.
Which are the three main kinds of domestic violence?
Physical barriering, which may start as a push but escalates into serious attacks and even murder, sexual abuse, in which a person is forced to have and want sex, psychological, barriering, which means constant verbal abuse, harassment, and possessiveness, isolation, economic deprivation, destruction of property, threats, and intimidation.
What are the stages in the cycle of domestic violence?
It starts with trivial actions but escalates into restraining, slapping, punching, kicking, beating, and sexual assault. Finally, there are life-threatening behaviors such as choking, bone breaking, and use of weapons. Where is barrering?
It is a behavior in which a person establishes power and control over another person by using fear, intimidation, and violence.
Okay. Who are usually bearers and who are usually the victims?
Men are the most common perpetrators. Women are the most common victims, although children and the elderly also suffer from domestic violence.
Which are the three main kinds of domestic violence?
Physical battering, which may start as a push but escalates into serious attacks and even murder. Sexual abuse, in which a person is forced to have unwanted sex. Psychological battering, which means constant verbal abuse, harassment and possessiveness, isolation, economic deprivation, destruction of property, threats, and intimidation.
What are the stages in the cycle of domestic violence?
It starts with trivial actions, but escalates into restraining, slapping, pushing, kicking, biting, and sexual assault. Finally, there are life-threatening behaviors such as shocking, bond breaking, and use of weapons. Okay, let me find the other picture. What is battering?
It's a behavior in which a person establishes power and control over another person by using fear, intimidation, and violence.
Who are usually batterers and who are usually the victims?
Men are the most common perpetrators, women are the most common victims, although children and the elderly also suffer from domestic violence.
Which are the three main kinds of domestic violence?
Physical battering, which may start as a push but escalates into serious attacks and even murder. Sexual abuse, in which a person is forced to have unwanted sex. Physiological battering, which means constant verbal abuse, harassment and possessiveness, isolation, economic deprivation, the destruction of property, threats, and intimidation.
What are the stages in the cycle of domestic violence?
It starts with trivial actions but escalates into restraining, slapping, punching, kicking, beating, and sexual assault. Finally, there are life-threatening behaviors such as choking, bone breathing, land use, the use of weapons. Where is battering?
It is a behavior in which a person establishes power and control over another person by using fear, intimidation, and violence.
Who are usually batterers and who are usually the victims?
Men are the most common perpetrators. Women are the most common victims, although children and the elderly also suffer from domestic violence.
Which are the three main kinds of domestic violence?
Physical battering, which may start as a push but escalates into serious attacks and even murder. Sexual abuse, in which a person is forced to have unwanted sex. Psychological battering, which means constant verbal abuse, harassment and possessiveness, isolation, economic deprivation, destruction of property, threats, and intimidation.
Okay. Intimidation. What are the stages in the cycle of domestic violence?
It starts with trivial actions but escalates into restraining, slapping, pushing, kicking, biting, and sexual assault. Finally, there are life-threatening and behaviors such as choking, bone breaking, and use of weapons. Okay, what is battering?
Okay, it's a behavior in which a person establishes power and control over another person by using fear, intimidation, and violence.
Who are usually batterers and who are usually the victims?
Men are the most common perpetrators, women are the most common victims, although children and the elderly also suffer from domestic violence.
Mhm. Which are the three main kinds of domestic violence?
Physical battery, which may start as a push but escalates into serious attacks and even murder. Sexual abuse, in which a person forced to have unwanted sex. Physiological barriering, which means constant verbal abuse, harassment, and possessiveness, isolation, economic deprivation, destruction of property, threats, and intimidation.
What are the stages in the cycle of domestic violence?
It starts with trivial actions but escalates into restraining, slapping, punching, kicking, beating, and sexual assault. Finally, there are life-threatening behaviors such as choking, bone breathing, lands, use the weapons. Where is bartering?
It is a behavior in which a person establishes power and control over another person by using fear, intimidation, and violence.
Who are usually batterers and who are usually the victims?
Men are the most common perpetrators. Women are the most common victims, although children and elderly also suffer from domestic violence.
Which are the three main kinds of domestic violence?
Physical battery, which may start as a push, but escalates into serious attacks and even murder. Sexual abuse, in which a person is forced to have unwanted sex. Psychological battering, which means constant verbal abuse, harassment, and possessiveness. Isolation, economic deprivation, destruction of property, threats, and intimidation.
What are the stages in the cycle of domestic violence?
It starts with trivial action but escalates into restraining, slapping, pushing, kicking, biting, and sexual assault. Finally, there are life-threatening behaviors such as shocking, bond breaking, and use of weapons. Okay, what is battering?
Okay, it's a behavior in which a person establishes power and control over another person by using fear, intimidation, and violence.
Who are usually batterers and who are usually the victims?
Men are the most common perpetrators. Women are the most common victims, although children and the elderly also suffer from domestic violence.
Which are the three main three main kinds of domestic violence.
Physical bartering, which may start as a push but escalates into serious attacks and even murder, sexual abuse, in which a person is forced to have unwanted sex. Physiological bartering, which means constant verbal abuse, harassment, and possessiveness, isolation, economic deprivation, destruction of property, threats, and intimidation.
What are the stages in the cycle of domestic violence?
It starts with trivial actions but escalates into restraining, slapping, punching, kicking, beating, and sexual assault. Finally, there are life-threatening behaviors such as choking, bone breathing, and use of weapons. Okay. What is bartering?
Qué montón de moturado, ¿verdad?
Demasiado. Sí,
Qué
no
raro.
sé.
It is the behavior in which a person establishes power and control over another person by using fear, intimidation, and violence.
Who are usually batterers, and who are usually the victims?
Men are the most common perpetrators, women are the most common victims, although children and elderly also suffer from domestic violence.
Which are the three main kinds of domestic violence?
Physical battering, which may start as a push but escalates into serious attacks and even murder. Sexual abuse, in which a person is forced to have unwanted sex. Psychological battering, which means constant verbal abuse, harassment, and possessiveness, isolation, economic deprivation, destruction of property, threats, and intimidation.
What are the stages in the cycle of domestic violence?
It starts with trivial action but escalates into restraining, slapping, pushing, kicking, biting, and sexual assault. Finally, there are life-threatening behaviors such as choking, bone breaking, and use of weapons. ¿Qué habrá pasado?
Sí, es extraño. Nos va a terminar doliendo la garganta. Sí. Okay. Well. Okay. What is bartering?
Creo que voy yo preguntando.
Bueno.
What is battering?
It's a behavior in which a person establishes power and control over another person by using fear, intimidation, and violence.
Who are usually batterers and who are usually the victims?
Men are the most common perpetrators, women are the most common victims, although children and the elderly also suffer from domestic violence.
Which are the three main kinds of domestic violence?
physical barring, which may start as a push but escalates into serious attacks and even murder, sexual abuse, in which a person is forced to have unwanted sex. Physiological barring, which means constant verbal abuse, harassment, and possessiveness, isolation, economic deprivation, destruction of property, threats, and intimidation.
And what are the stage in the cycle of domestic violence?
It starts with trivial actions but escalates into restraining, slapping, punching, kicking, beating, and sexual assault. Finally, there are life-threatening behaviors such as choking, bone breathing, lance, use of weapons.
Ay, no, ya no más.
Sí.
Recording in progress.
All right, guys. So now that you practiced the first part again, let's add the other questions, okay? So what consider basic cause battering? Robert, what do you think the question is?
Hi, teacher. I agree with you, teacher.
Right?
Okay. What consider basic cause battering? What do you consider? Do you consider? No, teacher, I don't know, teacher.
Okay.
Are the basic causes?
But it's considered the basic.
You're close.
Almost,
You're close.
almost.
Jose, need control, abuser, expect, consider, owner, family, figure of authority.
Um, the basic cause is or could be the need control. I don't know.
Okay, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry.
No.
These are hard questions and answers, I know.
No,
And
that's-
Natalie, how society react to domestic violence?
Okay, how have the society reacted to domestic violence?
Millie, not considered real crime, lacks severe consequence.
They aren't considered yet, like consider it a real crime. There is, because there is a lack of severe consequences.
Okay. Stephanie, why victims stay relationships?
Okay. Why does the victims stay in their relationships?
Veronica, mostly fear, lose children, financial support, family status, even life.
Mostly of the victims stayed in that relationship because of the fear to lose their children, the financial support, family status, and even life.
Oneida, other obstacles victims face, walkout relationships.
What other obstacles do victims face when they walk out with their relationships?
Of these relationships.
Okay.
Valeria, 3 major barriers: lack financial resources, lack support institutions, traditional beliefs, responsible marriage.
Okay, yes, there are 3 major barriers. Who
Barriers?
could be barriers? Barriers. Okay. That could be lack finance resources, lack, what is lack? Lack support institutions.
Lack is when you don't
or
have something.
Okay. Or traditional benefits who responsible of the marriage.
All right. So let's go ahead and read them. Viviana, can you read question number 5 for me, please?
What is considered the basic
Considered
the basic cause for barrering?
Cause. Basic cause.
Basic cause.
Robert? Robert, you're on mute.
Sorry, teacher. It is the abusers need to control. Basically, the abuser expects to be considered the owner of the family and the only figure of authority.
What's it? Question 6, please.
How has society society reacted to domestic violence?
Natalie?
Historically, society has not considered it a real crime. There has been a lack of severe consequences for batters.
Considered it.
Consider it. No. Yes.
Considered it.
Consider it.
Millie, number 7 question, please.
Why might victims stay in these relationships?
Stephanie?
Mostly they stay because of fear. They fear losing their children, their financial support, family status, or even their own life.
Veronica?
Are there other obstacles victims face to walk out of such relationships?
Oneida?
Overall, there are 3 major barriers: lack of financial resources, lack of support from government institutions that tend to minimize or ignore the situation, and traditional beliefs which make women responsible for the success or the marriage.
Of the marriage.
Of the marriage. Okay.
Very good, guys. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, then take a picture, a screenshot of that, please. And take one of this one, please.
Teacher, do you know Teacher Daniela?
Morning, night.
Morning. But she's of La Juela.
Oh yeah, no.
No.
No, like from other sites, I don't really know a lot of teachers. Like I know some from Heredia and Escazú. Why was she your teacher?
I was thinking that you were her sister.
I no, I don't have any sisters. Yeah, no, and especially in Alajuela. Like I don't know anyone in Alajuela. And I was thinking like of all the Danielas I know, and I was like, okay, she doesn't work at Intense anymore. She know is her name Daniela?
Maybe you need to ask teacher. Who is Daniela? Daniela, you're my sister.
All right, guys, do you have the picture?
Yes, teacher.
All right, go ahead and practice in pairs.
Okay. What is considered the basic cause for barrering?
It is the abuser's need to control. Basically, the abuser expects to be considered the owner of the family and the only figure of authority.
How has society react to domestic violence?
Historically, society has not considered it a real crime. There has been a lack of severe consequences for batterers.
Why might victims stay in these relationships?
Mostly they stay because of fear. They fear losing their children, their financial support, the family status, or even their own life.
Okay. Are there other obstacles victims face to walk out of such relationships?
Overall, there are three major barriers: lack of financial resources, lack of support from government institutions that tend to minimize or ignore the situation, and traditional beliefs which make women responsible for that success of the marriage. No, for the success of the marriage. What is considered the basic cause of battering?
It's the abuser's need to control. Basically, the abuser expects to be considered the owner of the family and the only figure of authority.
How has society reacted to domestic violence?
Historically, society has not considered it a real crime. There has been a lack of severe consequences for barriers. Severe.
Severe.
Okay, severe.
What might victims stay in these relationships?
Mostly they stay because of fear. They fear losing their children, their financial support, the family status, or even their own life.
Are there other obstacles victims face to walk out of such relationships?
Overall, there are three major barriers: lack of financial resources, lack of support from government institutions that tend to minimize or ignore the situation, and traditional beliefs which make women responsible for the success of the marriage. What is considered the basic cause for bartering?
It is the abuser's need to control. Basically, the abuser expects to be considered the owner of the family and the only figure of authority.
How has society reacted to domestic violence?
Historically, society has not considered it a real crime. There has been a lack of severe consequences for batterers.
Why might victims stay in these relationships?
Mostly they stay because of fear. They fear losing their children, their financial support, their family status, or even their own life.
Okay. Are there other obstacles victims face to walk out of such relationships?
Overall, there are three major barriers: lack of financial, lack of support from government institutions that tend to minimize or ignore the situation, and traditional beliefs which make women responsible for the success of the marriage. Okay, what is considered the basic cause of battering?
It's the abuser's need to control
Abusers.
Abusers need to control. Basically, the abuser expects to be considered the
Considered?
considered considered the owner of the family and the only figure of authority.
How has society reacted to domestic violence?
Teacher, considered or considered?
Considered.
Considered. Okay. 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 Historically, society has not considered. Society. What do you say?
Society.
Society has society. Okay. Society has not considered it as a real crime. There has been a lack of severe consequences for barters.
Severe consequences.
Severe consequences.
Why might victims stay in these relationships?
Severe. Okay. Okay. Mostly they stay because of fear. They fear losing their children, their financial support, the family status, or even their own life.
Are there other obstacles victims face to walk out of such relationships?
Overall, there are three major barriers.
Barriers?
Barriers. Lack of financial resource, lack of support from government institutions that tend to minimize or ignore the situation, and traditional beliefs which make women responsible for the success of the marriage.
Questions, class?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and go back.
Okay.
Recording in
Veronica, can you help
progress.
me with question number 5, please?
What is considered the basic cause of battering?
The basic cause?
Of battering. For battering.
Natalie?
It is the abuser's need to control. Basically, the abuser expects to be considered the owner of the family and the only figure of authority.
Viviana?
How has society react to domestic violence?
Reacted.
Reacted.
Millie?
Historically, society has not considered it a consider sorry, a real crime. There has been a lack of severe consequences of batters.
Severe consequences?
Of batters.
For
batterers.
Valeria?
Why might victims stay in these relationships?
Robert?
Mostly they say because of fear. They fear losing their children, their financial support, the family status, or even their own life.
Oneida?
Are there other obstacles victims face to walk out of such relationships?
Stephanie?
Overall, there are 3 major barriers.
Barriers.
Lack of financial resources, lack of support from government institutions that tend to minimize or ignore the situation, and traditional beliefs which make women responsible for the success of the marriage.
Questions, guys?
Teacher, the pronunciation of the word satiety? Satiety.
Society, like S-A-I-I, society, T-I.
Society.
Society. Society. Okay, like this, let's say. Society. All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Any other questions? No? All right. Take out your listening books, please.
Teacher, when the question number 8 that said victim face to walk out is when they try to
leave.
Walk
out is to leave.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys?
No.
All right. Take out your listening books, please. Why did I stop sharing? And you're going to turn to 59. Who has influenced you?
What page, teacher?
59.
Listen, teacher.
Yes, you're listening.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, listening. 59. Who has influenced you?
My mom.
59.
Super adorable, yes.
Yes.
Always.
59.
Yeah, 59. Got it, guys?
Yes.
Got it, teacher.
Teacher, moment, please.
Okay.
I was in another book.
Dialects, I guess.
Dialects.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I always do the same.
Okay.
Unit 11, Who has influenced you? Page 11, Part B. Listen to two students talk about who influenced them. Complete the chart. Kate.
Why don't you start, Kate?
A person who had a big influence on me was my grandfather.
Really? How?
I spent a lot of time with him when I was a kid, and he taught me how important it is to set goals and not be too disappointed when things don't go the way you want.
That's a nice attitude.
Yeah.
And do you set goals for yourself?
Sure. Every year I think about what goals I want to achieve and what I need to do to achieve them. It may be just some little thing, like improving my tennis game, or something more ambitious, like learning a new language. But I always start out with a goal. Then I break it down into the steps I need to take in order to get there. I know it sounds boring, but it works for me.
Sally.
And who was your influence, Sally?
Probably my older sister. I think she taught me to be independent and not to always rely on other people.
How?
Well, I remember whenever I used to ask her to help me with something, like schoolwork and things, she would just sit with me very patiently. She would ask me to think about the problem and then see if I could work it out for myself. She would try to help me find a solution on my own first, and only help me when I was really stuck. That's something that's been really helpful. I always try to solve a problem myself. I don't just give up and find someone to fix it for me.
Page 11, Part C. Listen again. How do the students use what they learned? Complete the sentences. Kate.
Why don't you start, Kate?
A person who had a big influence on me was my grandfather.
Really? How?
I spent a lot of time with him when I was a kid, and he taught me how important it is to set goals and not be too disappointed when things don't go the way you want.
That's a nice attitude.
Yeah.
And do you set goals for yourself?
Sure. Every year I think about what goals I want to achieve and what I need to do to achieve them. It may be just some little thing, like improving my tennis game, or something more ambitious, like learning a new language. But I always start out with a goal. Then I break it down into the steps I need to take in order to get there. I know it sounds boring, but it works for me.
Sally.
And who was your influence, Sally?
Probably my older sister. I think she taught me to be independent and not to always rely on other people.
How?
Well, I remember whenever I used to ask her to help me with something, like schoolwork and things, she would just sit with me very patiently. She would ask me to think about the problem and then see if I could work it out for myself. She would try to help me find a solution on my own first, and only help me when I was really stuck. That's something that's been really helpful. I always try to solve a problem myself. I don't just give up and find someone to fix it for me.
Sorry. My mouse got stuck. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and check. Is Jose, can you read number, well, I don't know, right? Each one, like Kate, who has influenced her?
Her influencer was her grandfather.
Mm-hmm. Ornata, what did she learn, or what she learned? Sorry.
Okay, she learned how important it's to set goals.
Set goals.
Okay, thank you. Set goals.
And?
I just write.
That's it. Okay, and not be disappointed, okay?
Okay.
So set goals and not be disappointed.
Okay.
Sorry, Robert, who influenced Sally?
Her older sister.
Mm-hmm. Millie, what did she learn?
She learned to be independent and trying to solve or find a solution by herself.
Yeah, not to rely on others, basically. And Natalie, every year, Kate?
Kate thinks about the goals that she wants to achieve.
And how to achieve them. Veronica, Sally always tries to
find a solution by herself and don't give up.
solve problems herself, not give up, and find someone to help her, okay? All right. And the last one, guys, you're going to turn to 67 as well, please.
Teacher, in this exercise, in the second part of Sally, I don't understand the word that she said that something like rely or
Don't rely on others. When you say don't rely on goes together. Others is that you don't count on them. Like you don't think, okay, but I'm just going to bring me my lunch, so I don't have to bring lunch. Okay.
Can you spell it, please?
Yeah, of course.
Don't trust in others, teacher.
Yeah, basically. Not really trust, like not to think they're going to do it, right? Like do things for yourself. Do you see it right here, Veronica? Okay.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay. And 67, guys, okay? A meeting.
Listening exercise 4. Listen to each passage and the questions that follow. Then choose the best answers to the questions. Passage 1. Questions 1 and 2. Listen as two students have a conversation. The conversation is about a meeting.
Are you coming to the meeting?
The meeting?
The meeting of the service club.
The service club?
It's a great club, and it'll be a great meeting.
Well, I'm not sure. When is the meeting? I'm sure I'll, be busy whenever the meeting is.
The meeting starts in a few minutes, and you seem to be free now.
Well, I'm, going somewhere. Somewhere, really important.
Well, if you can't come to this meeting of the service club, then maybe you can come to the next meeting. It's in a week from today.
Oh, of course. I'll try to come then, but, I just might be busy then, too.
Number 1. Listen again to part of the passage. Then answer the question.
Are you coming to the meeting?
The meeting?
The meeting of the service club.
The service club?
It's a great club, and it'll be a great meeting.
Which of the following might the man say about the meeting? Number 2. Listen again to part of the passage. Then answer the question.
The meeting starts in a few minutes, and you seem to be free now.
Well, I'm, going somewhere. Somewhere, really important.
Well, if you can't come to this meeting of the service club, then maybe you can come to the next meeting. It's in a week from today.
Oh, of course. I'll try to come then, but, I just might be busy then, too.
How does the woman seem to feel about the meeting?
All right, guys, very good. Valeria, can you help me with number 1, please?
Yeah, which of the following might the man say about the meeting? Number C.
Cool. Letter, not number.
Sorry, letter C.
Yeah.
That word.
Hey, the time you're thinking about, I need to go home or not go home.
Go to my
Go
bed.
eat. Okay, no, I think about eating at this time.
Me too.
Right? Well, I've been working all day, so like I always think about food.
Yeah.
Viviana, can you help me with number 2, please?
Okay. And then how does the woman seem to feel about the meeting? I think he's uninterested.
Definitely uninterested, right? She's making excuses not to go.
Yeah.
Questions, guys?
No.
No.
All right. Hey, well, for this last minute, let's go over the vocabulary in your side-by-side. So take out your side-by-side, guys. And you're going to turn to page 105. Okay. So let's at least see the vocabulary. 105.
Teacher, moment, please.
Okay.
Side by
Jose, can you help me with the first 3 words, please?
3 words, yes?
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3.
Doctor, nurse, lab technician.
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 Stephanie, 4, 5, and 6, please.
Okay. X-ray technician, scale and weight.
Oneida, 7, 8, and 9.
8 is
Height.
the height.
Height. Like
okay.
J-A.
Okay. A height is stethoscope.
Stethoscope.
Stethoscope. Okay. A chest X-ray.
Well, I know it's 9:15, but let's finish the last 3. Robert, can you read 10, 11, and 12?
Cardiogram, blood pressure, and blood test.
Blood.
Blood, okay. Blood pressures and blood test.
Very good. Questions, guys?
No, teacher.
No. Teacher?
Tell me.
It's not about this, but I just want to know why Gara in the tattoo.
Because he's my favorite character.
Really? Okay, well, yeah. It's great.
Like his transition, like from when he was like that miserable kid, right? That would do some battles. And the battle between Gaara and Bruce Lee is like my favorite Naruto battle ever.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
All right. Hey, guys, have a great night. It's a pleasure seeing you again. I'll see you tomorrow. Well, some of you for the first time. Sorry.
Teacher, the same.
Bye.
Thank you. Good
See you,
night.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.